All right, today we are jumping headfirst into one of the wildest, most jam-packed chapters in the whole Bible, Revelation 12. It's this epic cosmic drama with a woman glowing in the sky, a terrifying dragon, and a child who's destined to rule everything. So let's pull back the curtain and figure out what it all means.
Right out of the gate, the chapter hits us with this absolutely stunning and mysterious picture. A woman, literally wrapped in the sun, standing on the moon with a crown of 12 stars. But what is this? What is this great sign trying to tell us? That's really the question we need to get to the bottom of.
Well, luckily, the text itself gives us our biggest clue right away. It calls this vision a sign. That one word is key. It tells us, hey, don't take this literally. We're dealing with symbols here, powerful images that point to a much deeper truth. The original Greek is mega semeion. I love that. Think of it like a giant flashing neon sign from heaven. When you see this phrase, you know you're not reading a straightforward historical account. You're in a symbolic story, and our job is to decode what those symbols represent.
So to understand this story, we absolutely need the key, and that key is figuring out who the three main characters are in this celestial drama. Let's just lay them out nice and clear.
Okay, here's the decoder ring. According to the commentary we're using, the woman represents the nation of Israel. The huge fiery red dragon, that's Satan. And the male child that she gives birth to is, of course, Jesus Christ. Now, once you have these three identities locked in, the whole chapter just starts to open up.
Now, the identity of the woman, this is a really big deal. A very common interpretation, especially in Catholic tradition, sees her as Mary, the mother of Jesus. And that makes sense, right? But the source we're focusing on points us to Israel. Why? Because it lines up perfectly with Joseph's dream way back in Genesis, where the sun, moon, and stars represented his family, the very people who would become the 12 tribes of Israel. It shows that while Jesus was born of Mary, he was also born from the nation of Israel.
Next up, the bad guy. And wow, the description of the dragon is just terrifying. 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 royal crowns. This isn't just some monster. This is a picture of incredible power and authority. He's making a claim to be the true ruler of the world. So we've met the cast, and bam, the conflict ignites instantly. The dragon makes his move, and his target couldn't be clearer. It's the woman and her child. His first move is huge. It's cosmic. His tail is so powerful, it sweeps a third of the stars out of the sky. Now, according to this interpretation, these stars aren't literal suns. They represent the angels who sided with Satan in his original rebellion against God, the army of demons that were cast down right alongside him. And the dragon's objective on Earth? It is bone-chillingly specific. He waits, right in front of the woman, ready to kill her child the very moment he is born. And this symbolic threat has a direct, real-world echo. King Herod's paranoid, murderous rampage against the baby boys in Bethlehem, a clear attempt to destroy Jesus as an infant.
And you know what's wild? The text basically fast-forwards through Jesus' entire life and ministry in a single verse. It gives us the 2 giant bookends, his birth and then his ascension, described as being caught up to God and his throne. It's this powerful summary of his complete victory and his return to the Father.
Okay, so the child is safe at God's throne, but the dragon's fury just turns right back to the woman. She flees into the wilderness, and she's protected there for a very, very specific amount of time, 1,260 days. So why that number? What's so special about 1,260 days? Well, if you do the math, it comes out to exactly 3.5 years. And in biblical prophecy, that is a super important recurring time frame. It often points to a future period of intense persecution, what's sometimes called the Great Tribulation, where God will supernaturally protect Israel. But just as this drama is playing out on Earth, the camera, so to speak, suddenly pans up. The whole scene shifts from Earth to an all-out war in the heavens. And this is a clash of the Titans. The Archangel Michael, the chief of all angels, leads his armies against the dragon and his fallen angels. It's really important to see who's fighting here. This isn't God versus Satan. It's Michael, God's top angel, going up against Satan, the fallen angel. It's a battle of angelic forces. And the outcome? It is not a close call. The dragon and his forces are completely and totally defeated. Their access to heaven, where Satan used to stand and accuse people, is gone.
It's cut off. Forever. They are thrown out. For good. Now, to really get this, it helps to kind of zoom out and see where this event fits in Satan's, well, his career of falling. Scripture actually outlines 4 distinct falls. First was his original fall from glory. This war in heaven that we just saw, that's number 2, getting kicked out of the heavenly courts. Later in Revelation, he'll have a 3rd fall into a bottomless pit, and his 4th and final one will be into the lake of fire. So, for now, he's been demoted to earth.
And that brings us to the big consequence of that victory in heaven. I mean, it's great news for up there, but what does it mean for everyone down here on earth? Yeah, this is a classic good news, bad news situation. The good news is heaven is celebrating because the great accuser is finally gone. The bad news? A woe is pronounced over the earth because that same devil has come down here and he is filled with great wrath. And you have to understand why he's so furious. This isn't the rage of a conqueror. It's the desperate, cornered fury of a defeated enemy. He's acting with such intensity because he knows his time is short. He can see the clock ticking down to his final, permanent judgment. So, faced with that kind of rage, how do people possibly overcome? Well, the text gives us a 3-part strategy for victory. First, they overcome by the blood of the Lamb, meaning Christ's sacrifice is the ultimate answer to every accusation. Second, by the word of their testimony. Their own lived-out experience of God's power beats his lies. And third, they did not love their lives to the death. They overcome his violence by showing that their faith is more valuable to them than their own physical safety. So, enraged and booted from heaven, the dragon focuses all his remaining fury on earth. He goes after the woman, Israel, again. And then he turns his attention to the rest of her offspring, which is understood to mean all believers in Jesus, whether they're Jewish or Gentile. So when you put it all together, what are we left with? Revelation 12 pulls back the curtain on this massive spiritual conflict that's been raging behind the scenes of human history. It reveals an enemy who is absolutely defeated, but still incredibly dangerous. And it shows us that the ultimate victory isn't about our own strength. It's found in the sacrifice of the Lamb and in a faith that's willing to risk it all. So the question it leaves us with is, what does that mean for how we face our own battles today?